Detroiters Episode 2 Hog Riders. Now, I mentioned in my last review that I wasn't really sure how I was going to do this show. That's why this review is so late, because I was like, I don't know if I'm even going to review it. And keep going through the series, because with it being a comedy series, kind of all the same stuff I said in my first review. I was like, I don't really know what to do. Like, all I can say is this made me laugh really, really hard. And that's pretty much it, because I like the show. I think I've seen the third episode so far, and I'm actually going to do my review for the third episode right after this. And I decided I would just review it every week, just mention like my favorite parts of the episodes. It would be very simple, not like a in-depth review like my other shows. Just, this is what really made me laugh. Also, one of the big things I can do, being from Detroit, I can talk about like, oh, I recognize this location and stuff. And that's one of the big things about this episode. And aside from the comedy, which every episode so far has at least had one moment that's like made me laugh really, really hard. And for this one, it was honestly when they were driving the motorcycle the first time and they were going so slow when they were leaving the place. That cracked me up. And I love when they were like just beating on the van and stuff, which made no sense. And then Leah comes around and is like, you guys done jerking each other off, and they just yell at her like, do you see jizz everywhere? Like, it just made me laugh. So definitely had some hilarious stuff in this episode. The dude Ned was hysterical to me. Like, his commercials were just the dumbest stuff. Like, talking about people putting their dicks in like butter and ice cream and just insane stuff. Like, especially the racist stuff he was mentioning about them just like shooting black people, and like the commercial they actually did where they beat the dude and he was like, but I'm white. That made me crack up so hard. I was like, that is just so stupid, but it made me laugh so much. But I love what they did there. As far as things that I finally realized in this episode, the location that they use as like the office building, I know where that is. I actually used to live like 2 blocks from that place, and it's literally right next to Cass Tech High School. I didn't go there, but that's a big high school in the area. And it was just funny when I realized, I was like, oh crap, because when they were coming down the hallway, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is that building, because I actually took driver's training there, and I did something else there too. I took driver's training, but it was like right next to that school, which I was only like 2 blocks away from. So I recognized the building from the inside. I was like, I'm pretty sure I recognize that. And then once they were outside, I was like, oh, that's definitely the building I thought it was. So that was cool that I recognized that actual location. But it was definitely funny, and I love the ending when they finally get the van, which they got cheaper because the person that actually bought it, who we do see leave in the beginning of the episode, he ends up dying, so they got the van even cheaper than they did before after giving up the motorcycle to just some random dude. And I love that scene too, where he's like, I don't need a helmet or anything, and he revs it up and the happy music starts to kick up like when they were riding there earlier in the episode, and he just twists off the motorcycle and falls down. I was like, that was really funny. That was cool. They had just like a little stunt dude like just twisted and fly off the motorcycle for a quick second. But I love that shot. I was like, that was really funny. The ending with the van, and I forgot the guy's name. I think his name is Tommy. And so he does the paintings of Tim and Sam, and it's like interesting. For Sam, it's not too bad. I did love the line. He's like, I love how you captured my pink lips. I thought that was hilarious. But with Tim, it was just all messed up. It was just like, wow, that's kind of effed up. Like everything, like he was on like my yellow nose and yellow ears and my double chin, and like he's like, yeah, I see it, the double chin. So I love the ending as well. But really funny episode. Like I said, not too much to really talk about. Like I said, it's not like an in-depth show like my other stuff. It's just a half-hour comedy show. Really enjoying it so far, though. I'm excited to see how many episodes we're going to get this season. I would assume, with it being the first season, most shows, even when they're like comedy shows, they still only get like, like less than 10 episodes typically for a first season. But still enjoying it. Really making me laugh. At least once per episode is cracking me up. Something is just making me laugh really freaking hard. So certainly enjoyed this one. We'll see where it goes as far as what they do with the actual ads and stuff. They were getting a lot of popularity in this episode, but that was just because of the dance, and they were super pissed off. And then eventually, of course, he went from the cool dance idea and the weird racist ending stuff to just back to dicks and ice cream. So of course it all fell apart, but I like what they did with this. Malcolm Jamal Warner makes an appearance in this episode. He's the guy that convinces Sam and Tim to actually get the motorcycle because he's out living life and stuff like that. So cool to see him. Love the episode. Thought it was really funny, of course. We'd love to know what you guys thought about it, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. We'd love to know just what made you laugh the most in this episode. That's probably what I'm going to do across the board for this series as a comedy show. Like, what scene in this episode just made you laugh the most? Because for me, as far as when I first watched it, because I kind of went through it, I sped through it again earlier today to kind of remember it because it was last week's episode. But it was definitely that motorcycle thing. It didn't make me laugh as much this time, but it still made me laugh like crazy when I first saw it. Like, it was just hysterical because that's all I was thinking. I was like, well, can they ride a motorcycle? Like, I know they're getting one, but can they even drive one? And of course they can't. They were doing it well enough. I mean, as slow as that thing was going, I was honestly surprised it even stood up. But they were going so slow, and it just cracked me up when I first saw that. And like I said, them beating on the car and everything was just funny too. But we'd love to know which moment made you laugh the most. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.